Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Apex, and today I'm here with a fan favorite, a special guest, and someone who I happen to know kind of well, my flesh and blood brother, Trevor Frazier. Trevor, what's up?
What's up, guys? How are y'all doing? What's up, Apex? I'm stoked to be here. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Doing well, bro. How was your day?
It was good. It was long. Worked all day. Thankful for it, but happy to be home. Happy to be doing this.
For sure.
How's your day? Pretty good.
Pretty good. Productive weekend for me. Although before you called, I spent about an hour on YouTube trying to figure out how to propagate a snake plant. So, I mean, that could be productive too, just not necessarily for
Yeah,
this channel.
that's the vibe.
Yeah, man. So we're going to just have a very casual conversation about MMC. If y'all didn't know, for whatever reason, I dropped an album about 15, 16 days ago, or maybe a
You
little bit
didn't know you're a
longer.
loser. I'm just kidding. You're a winner.
Are they just not
But
subscribed to the channel, right? Um,
no.
and we're just gonna talk about it, kick it, man. People seem to really like when Trevor was on last time, which is dope because I can get him on whenever because he's my brother. But before we get into that, real quick, Trev, we haven't had a chance to talk about it. Thoughts on the new J. Cole project? Just like 1 minute.
I'm glad you asked. I'll try to keep it to a minute. First couple times through, I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling this. Got in the car, listened to it on full blast. Love it. It's J. Cole. It's the same thing as every time. You listen to it the first time, you're like, all right, that's good. That's all right. But then you re-listen and you dive into it and you go on that journey with them. Love Cole. Love the album. Ready for the fall off. Yeah. What you think?
I mean, yeah, bro, kind of along the same lines. It's a little bit different for Cole,
Yes.
like what he's been doing the last 7 years at this point, I guess, when he
Right.
really went conscious with it. But he's always kind of been borderline mainstream and borderline lyrical conscious rapper.
Yeah.
He just happened to make it big. But this album, I felt like, especially coinciding with the documentary that came out with it, it's going
Yeah.
back to his roots a little bit. And it's cool to see, man. There's obviously a lot of bars that I loved. And then there's a few where I'm like, kind of wish you didn't say that, but it is what it is. We all
Like,
grow in different ways.
what is it? Hunger on Hillside or Amari? One of those two. And there was a few lyrics. I was like, come on, Cole. But I mean, he is conscious. He does his thing. I love it.
Right.
I think the world needs it, and I know we're all ready for some Kendrick too. So
Yeah, we are. But in the meantime, we got some Apex to get to. So I
yes,
heard you got a
sir.
question for me. You want to go ahead and kick
Yeah.
us off with it?
Yeah, I got a couple questions, man. Obviously, you're my bro. I've seen you grow through this. Dude's been doing this for 10 plus years. It's crazy. I mean, the work ethic is wild. I guess my first question is, what's the meaning behind the album? Like, what's the like, where did this come from? I know that you do music when you feel led to. I know you're always in your book, always in the notes, writing, reading, whatever, but to put a full album out is special for you. So I guess what's the meaning behind it?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a good question. I think for me, a lot of the last couple of years have been growing outside of music,
Yeah.
growing as a person. And a lot of that has to do with the muscle disease that I developed a few years ago, more than most people, really changed my life. And in such a weird way that like no one could see coming. So learning to grow from that and kind of embrace that has been a huge struggle, a huge challenge, but something that I've been trying to take head on for the most part over the last few years. And that kind of became the main narrative of the album,
Yeah.
kind of like the mental and spiritual battle that comes with with like physical or whatever battles that
Right.
we fight on a daily. And it's not just me, and it's not just people with like um, diseases or any physical thing. Like a lot of people go through this stuff, you know, it's all interconnected. So I wanted to kind of go on this journey of like missions or things that I feel called to do, right? So we have like the whole Christian element of a mission, we have a whole worldly element of a mission, and they're basically the same thing, just slightly different, where it's like a mission is just something that you're called to do in one way or another, called to complete. And convictions are stuff that eat at you, that make you maybe stumble from that. And for
Yeah.
so much of my life, I felt like my missions and convictions kind of butted heads.
Yeah.
But through this like FSHD and through immigration and everything that I've been through, I've gotten a chance to see that they're actually very interconnected, and they kind of can weave and build off of each other, you know?
Yeah.
And it's been a dope process for me learning that. And I just wanted to throw it on some music, but you know, as you know, I've been working on this album for years.
Forever.
It's been a long time coming, and a lot of that is because I felt like this journey, this message is so special that it just had to be done right. It had to be fleshed out over a full album narrative. And a big thing was it had to have like kind of a resolve. Like I don't think I'm arrived as a person, right? But
Right.
if I tried to put this album out 2 years ago, I wouldn't be as at peace with myself or with anything as I am
Right.
right now. And the
Right.
album just wouldn't be complete, really, because it's so personal. But at the same time, I tried to make it to where a lot of people can relate to it. So it's just been it's been really fun to challenge myself in that way. Like you said, I haven't put out an album in almost 4 years. I only have one album to my name other
Crazy.
than MMC. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've been dropping, you know, we've been doing our thing the whole
Yep.
time.
Yep.
And between just trying to nail this project and build a fan base, it just happened to take a little bit longer. Then COVID came and, you know, delayed things a little bit, but it's here
But you
now.
challenge. Yep. No, and I think you did a good job connecting. You know, it was a super personal album, which is incredibly tough to do. And I think that's what some of the greater rappers or whatever, indie artists or whatever do, is they
Right.
connect to their personal stories. But I mean, it's something that everybody can relate to: family issues, addiction, going through mental health stuff. Like, and I guess that sort of brings me to my next question is like, I feel like you found your sound and you matured into your music so well through this album. And it's like, it's you, it's innately you. And I just sort of, I've always been amazed because, you know, I'm a wannabe rapper. I write some lyrics from time to time. They're good,
Yeah.
but I can't do it like that. So I just, what sort of goes into the process and like your thought process? Because I know you want it to hit, you want it to sound good, but you have bigger intentions behind your music.
For sure.
So with the album that has such diversity, like Eric Bledsoe, and then you have Hearse. You gotta love Just Ignore It. Like they're all sort of different. So
Right.
I guess what goes behind that process where you get to this point and it's a full album?
Yeah, man. That's a good question. You know, I'm a student of the game. I don't know if I would say like I'm a music fanatic. I love music, but to say like, I know you're giving me that look, but there's some people that know the in and outs of music theory and writing and all that.
Right.
And like, I spent hours trying to learn theory. I don't know. I can't retain that stuff to save my life. For real. Took class in school, took YouTube Academy classes, and you know, nothing. But a lot of kind of improvement is from repetition and studying the game, right? So I have so many influences musically. And then on top of that, a lot of what I do is it comes from my heart and comes from prayer. Cause like I'm so thankful that God has given me this opportunity to kind of be part of his plan and this dope way, this dope avenue of hip hop. I want to make sure that I do it right for his kingdom, for his sake, and represent him and the music.
For
So
sure.
as much as I feel like I could go and drop a whole different kind of album, I wanted
Yes.
to make sure that even if it was harder, that I did it the right way, just for the sake of like my soul, you know. So
Right.
like that's been a big part of growing, not just mentally, but that has transitioned to music, because without it, then I would have been like turned off to the world of CCM and gospel music, because I went through a phase where I was like, man, all this stuff is trash. It all sounds the same. But then the more I started to be like, you know, I really do want to arrive at a place of worship on the album, I started to let myself listen to new artists and different stuff that I hadn't heard before in those genres. And I'm like, dang, this is actually fire. Like
Yeah.
it's got substance, it's got meaning, it's well written, and it's very well produced. So I feel like kind of mixing that with studying the main avenues of hip hop and then studying pop music and all that, you get the time zone, the summer bop like time zone, and then you get the how do you, the whole like the worship rap type of thing. But a lot of it has been just Odyssey and I, you know, we bounce a
Yeah.
lot of great ideas off of each other. Odyssey has been producing my music for the most part since 2018.
2018.
Yeah. We recorded on Steady, I think late
Yes.
2017.
Yeah.
And we kind of sparked there initially. And then you mentioned the Anxiety EP, and a lot of what that project was, especially production wise, is due to him. That was the first time really tackling a project together. And then this album is the first project that I've ever done a 100%er with any producer on. So
Crazy.
it is crazy, but
Crazy.
I feel
He
like we
killed it
kind of,
too.
he did kill it, man.
He
Shout out
killed
to
it.
Odyssey.
Shout out
Great,
to Odyssey.
great things coming for his career. I'm very excited for him.
He's a
But
good dude too. So
he's a great dude. One of my best friends in the whole world. I feel like we kind of built our own sound from the ground
yeah,
up,
I
and
agree.
I wouldn't be able to do this without him. And it's funny because I said it in the Q&A that I did with my Discord a few videos back. I told him before we started the album, like, yo, not to make this hard on you, but there's gonna be hardly any references for this album because it's gonna be so different. So we get these songs like Just Ignore It, where it's like two verses that aren't 16s and a weird
Right.
chorus where everything drops out, and then we kind of infuse all the instrumental back into the chorus in the second half. And then we have this weird like horn trumpet outro. And
Loved
then
it. Loved it, man.
thank you, bro.
Loved it. It was some Bellion stuff right there.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. You know, Bellion's my favorite artist.
Yeah.
One of my biggest musical inspirations, even though our genres are
Can't knock it.
very different. I wanted to pay homage to him throughout this whole thing, just because, you know, he's one of those people that really helped me become who I am musically. So one thing that he does a lot of is introduce horns in his music, horns and like pop, horns and the rap stuff that he does. So I love that, and I wanted to kind of infuse my album with it. So you get the horns on Just Ignore It first, and then obviously Time Zone, How Do You? So we kind of keep it throughout the whole thing. But I would say, like, to answer your question, it's just an accumulation of so many things that like, that Odyssey and I worked on, but especially like me just studying and being a fan of music. And that's where I devote most of my time, you know. So especially after sports kind of became obsolete to me. So I think taking that and manifesting it and stewarding it well has been kind of the premise of the improvement on this album. And it's funny because, like you said, and kind of like what I say in Steadily Improving, I'm not done by any means, right?
Right.
So I even look back at this album. I look back at Wolves and I'm like, I don't really like my verses on Wolves anymore. Which is funny because Wolves is my most popular song by a lot. And I love the concept and I love the whole thing. But
right,
if I were to rewrite that today, it would be 10 times better. I think.
Yeah, it's crazy though, because you'll have artists like you who write their stuff, do their stuff, look at it, they're like, that was good, but I can do better.
Right.
And then you have artists that dwell on their stuff and, you know, make a living from it, whatever. But I mean, I guess like your sound also comes from who you're in touch with daily. Like you said, Odyssey, great producer. You know, you and him made this album. You have like a lot of people that you work with. You know, a lot of these young artists that are up and coming, a lot of people that are either in CCM or Christian hip hop or any other mainstream. A lot of indie artists too. I guess it's like, it's crazy because I've seen you grow so much and you see how the sound has developed of your own and how you're able to like help these younger generations get on these songs and, you know, help them and them help you, vice versa. But more than anything, just the camaraderie. And I butchered that word, but we're going to continue. Ultimately, my question is, you have a lot more features on this album. Right. And I think what I love the most is you have had features on a lot of your songs, but I can't remember one person that is the same. Most of the time, it's always somebody new. And I know you keep in touch with the old people too. And I love that. But I want to know how you constantly connect. So if there was a young artist that was trying to connect with people and learn from people and build with people, how do you connect with these people? How do you meet them? I mean, like you said, your situation, you're up in Canada, you know, it's not the same. Right. So, I mean, it speaks to the intensity and the tenacity. That's the word. Yeah, wow. Having trouble here. Of you as an artist though. So I'm just curious, like, how you connect with someone and how do you know if it's that vibe?
Right.
You know?
Okay. Yeah. So, I used to work with a ton of artists and then I took a long break from working with artists. Right. So from
you weren't going to anymore, right?
Well, I wasn't going to for a season.
On some J. Cole stuff?
On some J. Cole stuff. I needed to find my sound, right? Which takes us back to the last question.
Fair enough.
So it's just Odyssey and I trying to work on that. But man, I think where a lot of people do the whole feature thing wrong, connections wrong, is you look at what name will look best on the song, right? You look at
what will get the most numbers.
What will get the most numbers, featuring the baby or whatever, and the baby doesn't even fit the song that you're going for. So I think for me, a lot of what I've learned over the last, I'd say 2 years now, since I've really been tapping into the marketing thing, year and a half, is like connect with people and be real with it. Be real with it.
That's the key.
Listen, bro, I've been so blessed to meet some awesome people, awesome artists, athletes, some of my favorites. And
Kyle Lowry, baby.
Kyle Lowry. I wasn't gonna name names, but Kyle Lowry, world champion.
Who's the Christian hip hop artist that you balled with?
John Gibbs.
That's right.
Yeah, shout out John Gibbs, man.
Super blessed, man.
Super blessed. But amazing. I would say like none of those people who I met, like especially in the last year and a half, 2 years, none of them will forget me because I've made an impression on them. And you know why? Because I'm authentic with it. And I don't try to be someone I'm not. And I don't try to show love if I don't have love for that person. So you look at the names on my album, like Trey's a great example to piggyback off of Wolves. Like Trey and I are just fans of each other. We never met in person. We met on Instagram. We're
Right.
fans of each other, right? And at the time, he wasn't popping like he's popping now. And I'm so happy to see him win, but that's a whole other video. Trey's just a super cool guy, right? So
Yeah.
whenever I heard the demo beat for Was, I was like, man, I gotta get Trey on here. But because I had already built and manifest the beginning of that relationship with him, he was super down, right?
Right.
And I'm blessed. I don't know if I should be saying this, putting their business out, but no one on this album charged me for a feature, which is so rare in hip hop.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
That's love.
it is love.
That's
And you
love.
know what, bro? It's because like I didn't try to work with anyone who I wasn't legitimately a fan of and appreciated their art or their personality. So I have a friend who I've known for years from church camp on my album. Shout out to Allie. And she's amazing. She's one of the best.
She is amazing.
She's amazing.
That's who that is?
Yeah, she's
Dang,
one of the,
man.
you know, Haley.
Yeah.
She is friends with Haley, right?
That's bizarre.
Yeah. So yeah, bro. She's like someone who I've known for a long time. And,
right. Just had a relationship.
And we had talked about maybe doing something before. And I was like, when I heard How Do You, that was the first song I got her on. I was like, I really want Allie to sing this. And so I hit up Allie. And I'm not saying like I didn't hit up other people and they couldn't do it. There's a couple of artists and like that's totally fine. But like T-San, Richie, all those amazingly talented artists, I was just authentic with them. And like Richie is probably the one who I talked to the least before asking him to be on this album. But in initiating that conversation, I was very authentic with him. I was very transparent. I was like, hey, bro, here's the narrative of the album. Here's my life situation. And here's the song concept. Would you be down to hop on? And he was like super down. And it's a testament to knowing your art, knowing who you want to work with, and then also just being a people person. You know, like, so I have anxiety, right? I'm diagnosed with anxiety, but I've been able to kind of manifest that and use it as a superpower in a way, so that I'm like hyper focused on the things that I love, right? So I've been able to become kind of like a facilitator, I guess, to put it in basketball terms, of different art and different people who I know in my life. And I've been able to connect a ton of people. And, you know, I don't think that that's because of me. I truly think that that's because of, that's how God chose to work through me. And I love that. So that's why this album has someone like Trey from Next Door on it, who's not like in CHH. He's a Christian and he makes hip hop R&B, but he's not in CHH. He doesn't have like CHH love. And then I have someone like Jay Connick, who's like super Christ focused in his music. Right. And they're both very, very authentic in the music that they did on this album. And
I love that, man. I think that's what people need, because life's not always, you know, we're always, all of us, going through a constant battle. And if you're a Christian, you know, life can't always be, you got to have that reality.
Yes.
Right? Because we grew up in church 8 days a week, you know, like, and it was great. It was
9 in the summer.
It was a blessing. Yeah, 9 in the summer. Exactly, bro. But all we knew was Christian, right? Mm-hmm. And to have that perspective of Christian and mainstream on one album is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't know how y'all can't love this kid. Killer. He's genuine. Bro. No cap on here. Everything he said was true. It's all love. I respect it so much, man. I do have one more question. It's not like a long-winded answer, unless you're pop. You can do your thing. But what's your personal favorite song on the album?
Bro, that's
too bad.
That's a hard question.
Can't cop out either.
You know, answer. People ask me this question. No, it's not a cop out. Listen, I can't choose. I just can't
Bruh,
choose. It
not even.
it changes, like
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
it changes on the move. For a while it was Eric Bledsoe, then it was How Do You. Um, but you know what? I think that 10,000 Ways will always be the song that hits me the hardest. 10,000 Ways and Hearse are so like, listen, man, here's the thing. Hearse, I think, is the least popular song on the album, which makes sense.
Right. It's
But
deep.
it's one of the most um it's one of my favorite pieces of art that I've ever made.
Was it liberating for you to make that song?
Yeah, it was,
Was it
so,
hard?
so here's funny. Here's what's funny.
All right, let's hear
I
it.
have a voice memo on my phone. Let me see if I can find it. From 2018 of the song.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
crazy. Where it all started, huh?
where it all started. Here it is. It's called Questions.
Questioning my mental state more times than not. Question
This is my like 3 a.m. voice, but you feel me?
Yeah.
So
Nah.
that kind of was the oldest fabric of this album that came all the way through the two major rewrites that I did to this project. So it's obviously something that means a lot to me. And that when I wrote it in 2018, late 2018 was probably the worst time in my life,
For
and
sure.
you know that. And
For sure.
at the turn of that year, I stopped making music.
I was about to say,
Yeah. For a couple months, and then things started to get a lot better. I really started to focus on myself. I graduated high school, which was a big piece of it. But
and I told you can't quit.
Yeah, that too.
I know that's what made your decision.
That song was kind of like me, I guess, at my breaking point. And that's why it was so important to position it between time zone, like the fake high, the let's pretend like we're not sad of the album, and 10,000 Ways, where it's like, okay, God, I'm broken. I'm giving you everything I got. What can you do for me? And then without having that hearse that I'm praying in the church, but it's only getting worse. Without having that whole moment, that concept in my life, and I think so many people can relate to this. It's crazy. I would never have arrived at the how do you. Like, you love me so much, bro. I just want to love you back. And then the God of love. Okay, you said to take your love, manifest it, and spread it to the whole world, everybody, right?
Right.
So I think Hearse is so important that I would just say right now that it's my favorite song for the sake of giving it more attention, even if it's not necessarily my favorite. But Hearse and 10,000 Ways, I think, are very interconnected. So if you like 10,000 Ways, you got to listen to Hearse too. Yeah. That was long-winded after all.
All right, Pop. It's all good. But I mean, no, I love it, man.
What's your favorite?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. See, dang.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, there's two that I really, really love. I think my favorite, it actually made me tear up a bit, which is weird because Hearse or 10,000, those didn't make me tear up. Like, I felt you and my heart felt it. Mm-hmm. But just ignore it.
Yeah.
Just ignore it, because I felt like that was my whole life. Because my mentality is there's always stuff going on, always. And you got to focus on the good. But if you don't deal with your stuff, then it's going to follow you. And you'll get to the point where you're at Hearse. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that song just hits. And Eric Bledsoe, you just killed it. That's lyrically just dope. I love it. But yeah, I think those two for sure. Yeah. 10,000 Ways is awesome. I mean, my opinion on that type of Christian music,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you did good. I
Thank
really
you,
do.
bro. Yeah,
And
man.
I know that's a huge compliment, because I don't cap either. I won't tell you it's good if it's not. But I mean,
Right.
just the heart behind it, man. Like how you've grown, not only followers, because it's more than that. It's a community that you've grown, that you've created, that you've been able to
and
pull together through the talent God's given you,
massive
bro.
shout out to the people who support me like
Yes.
crazy. Like
Yes.
and the like you know, one thing I'm very surprised about is that CHH has shown a lot of love with this album. So like shout out to CHH Hysteria, my guys, CHH Plug, all things CHH, CHH Talk for the playlist. And like shout out to them and shout out to everyone in my Discord and everyone who supports me and my fam, right? But I'm glad to hear you really resonated with Just Ignore It. Man, I'm surprised with how many people like it, because this is the cool thing. This is exactly why albums are amazing. You know, I would never be able to drop a song like that if it wasn't for it being on an album. Even on an EP, it just wouldn't work because it's so weird. So I'm glad. And yeah, man, that's kind of one thing that I wanted to do with the chorus is make it like make it reach everybody. But the verses are so very it's a story, right? It's talking about me revisiting when I was finding out that like I was sick and couldn't play basketball anymore. So yeah, man. And also
the deepest parts of life.
I will say to everybody, don't sleep on the intro. It's my favorite intro. That and Premonitions. I also love Premonitions.
Just like Bryson Tiller said, it's not just another interlude.
Bryson Tiller again.
I
always went to Bryson Tiller.
I'm sorry, I can't help myself.
Yeah.
But nah, I love it, man. I'm proud of you. You killed it. You got anything for me?
As in,
you got any questions about anything else? How I feel about the album or anything like that? Good.
Bro, I would ask you about the rollout, but this man deleted all of his social medias.
Yo, Trevor Frazier is back on Instagram. So,
really?
Yeah. And Snapchat. So snap me.
Snapchat. Oh, this man's still on Snapchat. Bro's gonna be 25 this week and he's still on Snapchat.
Bro, I just got it back, okay? So listen,
I'm just playing.
Everyone I work with makes me feel so old because they're all like 21 and 22. Yeah. And they're like, Trevor, no one communicates through text anymore. And what the breaking point was is I was texting someone and I sent them like a video through text instead of snapping them. And they just gave me so much crap for it. That
was it on your Android?
No, but I just got an Android. Don't let Caleb fool you. It's the best move in the world. Come see me at Verizon.
No, here's the crazy part, right? So this man got an Android and he's still using Apple Music. After everything that they did to me, bro. After all of the stuff that they put me through with this album.
Somebody's a little hurt about that. Apple Music did do them dirty, though. Apple Music did Apex dirty. Music
did me dirty, bro. Shout out to Matt St. Flora for encouraging me to drop the digital download of this album. I was very back and forth on it. And he's like, do it. What's gonna happen? No one's gonna buy it. It's the worst thing that'll happen. So shout out to him. And you know, my whole team, Aaron Knight, who helped me get this project out. And yeah, man.
It's awesome. Shout out to the people that made that hoodie too. I love that hoodie.
Shout out to Tag Apparel, Tag Everywhere 116.com. I think is their website. If anybody's looking for some drip. I did an unboxing video, my first one ever. It totally got like no views. So if you want to watch that, make me feel better about myself, go do it. No, just playing. Anything
y'all
else?
Need to stop sleeping on Apex though. And I know anybody's watching this.
Anybody's watching all 40 minutes of us talking a bunch of like
y'all are a real.
Yeah. If you are watching this part right now, I want you to comment with the camo emoji, right?
Yeah.
And confuse the people
we
who
went
don't
off
make it.
book, like so hard.
Yeah.
But for real, man, I appreciate y'all supporting this man. He puts, I mean, hours into this. This is not something he takes lightly. Go listen to the new album.
Mhm.
Don't sleep on it. Don't cap either, because we can see all the views.
He's
But
right.
awesome,
We can.
bro. I love you, man. I'm proud of
Love you
you.
too, dog.
Go
Appreciate
listen
you.
to MNC. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.
Peace, bro.